What is up, everyone? It's your boy Radd here with my coffee early morning, here to chat about Leprechaun 2, the sequel to the popular film Leprechaun, or it is popular in the horror community and all that kind of stuff. This film came out in '94, so this is pretty much like a year right after, not even a year right after the first film's appearance. So let's get on to talking about this film. And of course, this is just going to be kind of a retrospective Radd movie review, talking about my memories of it, what I think of the film, and all that kind of stuff. So Leprechaun 2 is actually the one that I remember the most. Before going back to the franchise, this is the one that I just remember the most, from the goat cart kill to the pot of gold kill in the stomach and just the storyline in general. This is the one that I remember the most. But there are some continuity issues with these films, because if you pay attention to the first Leprechaun, he ends up telling a police officer in that film that he is around 600 years old. And in this one, we go to a flashback period and a point where it's back in time, and he tells his slave or his servant that he has like a manservant, and he tells him that he's 1,000 years old and that he's looking for his wife and all this kind of stuff. So there's like continuity errors in terms of like the Leprechaun's actual age. Warwick Davis does return to play the Leprechaun in this film, and as I said, you can tell this is a different storyline. It's not about his pot of gold. This one's about him finding a wife 1,000 years later, and he basically curses his servant's family because he goes to like basically take his daughter, and he's like, oh, I'm going to take the fairest maiden, and she has to sneeze 3 times and all this stuff, and it's just like this weird like mystical thing in the beginning. And then he ends up basically telling the man that I will come back 1,000 years later and go for your most fairest descendant. So that's what kind of our storyline is, and we flash forward to basically like our time, the 90s at that time, present day, where we follow Cody, and Bridget is the girl that he's after, and Cody's like our main character, boy guy that likes her and stuff like that, and he drives like a tourist kind of, or he is one of the people who is part of a tourist attraction type thing in Hollywood. Morty is the driver. He's like the older man that works with him as well. So it's just like we got some really cool, funny characters, interesting characters in this film as well. And I think the actor that plays Morty and the actor that plays Cody, them two do a really good job, just like making commitment to the role. Also, as I said, you can tell something that's very memorable about this film is the kills. I think the kills, it's definitely a step up. You can tell that there's much more production value in terms of the kills and stuff like that. But with the camera work and the music, the way the music plays out and the way it's filmed, some of the set designs and stuff like that, it does feel almost TV movie-ish. Especially when we get to the Leprechaun capturing Bridget, and he takes her back to his like underground tree area, where it's like he lives in a tree that was donated to Houdini or something like that. Like, it's just, there's some funny stuff. Like I said, these films are definitely comedy horror. You have to be in that realm or comfortable with that realm of horror if you're going to be watching these films. And like I said, there's a lot of cool homage stuff and cool rules and history stuff in these films, but there are continuity errors and stuff like that. But yeah, once we get into Bridget down in the like little tree thing in his hideout with the Leprechaun, and he has her trapped there, and he's kind of getting her ready to be wed. Like, oh man, it has this really TV movie-ish vibe to it. But as I said, it's just a really good comedy, funny type horror movie. Like, one of my other favorite parts in this movie is when Morty tries to trick the Leprechaun by getting him drunk at the bar, and like, you know, and you see all the other, it's like St. Patrick's Day, which is ironically, this is the only Leprechaun film that I know of that actually takes place on St. Patrick's Day. So that's what's kind of cool about it too. And they're in this bar with a bunch of guys who are dressed like leprechauns, and they're like cheering him on, you know, go, 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 you can do it. Like, and he's chugging like the different beers and alcohols and stuff. So that scene is really funny too. I like that scene. But Morty gets greedy, of course. They capture the Leprechaun in a safe, and it's an iron safe, so he can't like touch it or escape or anything like that. And of course, Morty's like, give me my 3 wishes, and he basically pulls like a wishmaster thing on him, where the Leprechaun gives him what he wants, but it's like all like kind of fucked up versions of the wishes that he asks for. Then we also add into our other part of this one. This one has a lot of, I wouldn't say side plots, but it has a lot of like little tricks and little things going on in it. Like one of our characters, Cody, I believe he becomes in possession of a shilling, one of the shillings from the gold that the Leprechaun has down in his place. But as he has that shilling, when he has it, he's protected. So like when the Leprechaun's doing the go-kart killings, and he has like this cool go-kart that has like spikes and like knives on it and stuff, and he's like driving it, even has like a furry little seat and everything. He ends up going right through Cody, and like goes right through him like a ghost, because he has the gold shilling. So while he has that, the Leprechaun is unable to hurt him. So as I said, definitely this second film is the one that I do remember most. I probably like this one a little bit better than that first film, because the first film is still, it's a little bit dated. I don't think it ages too well. And the second film, it does have a TV movie-ish vibe, but it actually does fit the film, I think, a little bit better. And as I said, the kills being more interesting, some of the characters being more interesting and more playful, definitely gets me more into the story. So I do have a little bit more fun time with this second film than the first one. So yeah, thank you for sticking around with me all for this review and retrospective talk of Leprechaun 2, the sequel to Leprechaun. Next, we're going to be on to the third film in the franchise, so make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click that notification bell so you're notified anytime I post videos. I'm also going to be dropping a Radd movie review for Spider-Man No Way Home. I finally did catch that film, so be on the lookout for that as well. Have a safe and happy day, everyone. Peace out.